Okay, Math 90, this is section 2.3, part B, and we're going to be doing more solving. Last time we did 2.3a, and we used adding and subtracting to help us solve. And in this part of 2.3, we're going to be using dividing and multiplying to help us solve. So let's take a look at the first problem. Solve for m, and I know they're giving me this equation 5m equals 45. So 5 times some value m, we don't know what it is, or you might know it already off the top of your head just by looking at it, equals 45. So I'm multiplying 5 times m. What's the opposite of 5 times m? That'll help me solve it. If I undo the operation, undo the multiplication, or do the opposite. So I'm going to divide. I'm going to divide both sides by 5. Five divided by 5 goes. I'm left with m. And 45 divided by 5 is how much? Well, that is 9. So 9 is my solution. Do I want to check it? I can if you want. Let's take 5 times 9, because 9 is m, and let's see if when we multiply it, that gets us back to 45. So here's my m. M is 9. 9 is my solution. So 5 times 9 is 45. 45, oops, does equal 45. So it does check. So 9 is a true solution. Let's do another one. Let's solve for p. Okay. Here's my equation that I want to solve. 32 equals negative 4p. So some number or value multiplied by negative 4 gets me to 32. So we're multiplying by negative 4. We want to do the opposite. So, and if you take a look at the last problem I did, we're going to do the exact same thing. And we're going to divide both sides by negative 4. So negative 4 on the top, negative 4 on the bottom, those are going to cancel out. And I'm left with p on this side, which is good, because I want to see what p does equal to, what p equals to, rather. And what's 32 divided by negative 4? When I have a positive divided by a negative, I'm going to get a negative answer, and that's going to be negative 8. So negative 8 is p. I solved it. Negative 8 is my solution. I can do a check. Let's plug in negative 8 for p, and see if both sides come out to be equal. So this is 32. I'm just going to bring that down. And what's negative 4 times negative 8? Well, that's also 32. So 32 equals 32. That does check. So that is good. Okay, let's go to a little bit harder problem. Okay, I want to solve 2y or 2/5 y equals 4, and I want to solve for y. Usually they just say solve. Sometimes they'll say solve for a letter or solve for the variable, but most times they just say solve. So that fraction 2/5 is being multiplied by y. This is a little bit harder. I can't really tell what the answer is going to be. So 2/5 times some value y is going to get me equal to 4. Now it is true the 2/5 and the y are being multiplied. We could divide both sides by 2/5. But we learned something in Math 085, and I don't know if you remember, the same thing as multiplying by 2/5 is also another way to look at it is we can multiply by the reciprocal. So let me write that on here. It's the same thing as dividing by 2/5, or we can multiply by the reciprocal. And do we remember what the reciprocal is? Yikes. The reciprocal of 2/5 is, do we know? Well, 2/5, the reciprocal is 5/2. We're just flipping the 2/5 and getting 5/2. So we're going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal. So let me rewrite this. And I can put a 1 up underneath my 4. 4/1 does equal 4. So just to help us, because we're working with fractions, it might be easier for you to put a 1 up underneath a 4. So we're going to go ahead and multiply both sides by the reciprocal, which is 5/2. Okay. So when we're looking along the diagonal, do we see anything that can cancel out? Well, I sure do. I see the 5s go and the 2s go. And what am I left with? I'm left with y. And let's see over here on the diagonal, does 2 go into 4? It does. And I can also make this 4, change this 4 to a 2 times 2, because 2 times 2 is 4. So then we can see that along the diagonal, I've got a 2 that's going to cancel out on the bottom and on the top. So as I multiply across, I'm getting 2 times 5 is 10, and I'm getting 1 times 1 across the bottom, And what's 10 over 1 is just 10. So y equals 10 is my solution. Okay, I'm going to stop there. When we come back, I'm going to do another fraction problem, another solve with a fraction. So that will be in the next video.